Ever take a ride down a bowling lane? Well, you will now. ABC Sports presents live in its 30th anniversary season the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today from Sayville, it's the Toyota Long Island Open. In our first match, we'll see Phil Ringener of Big Spring, Texas, facing 7-time champion Tom Baker. That winner will meet defending champion Ballard of Richardson, Texas. Our semifinal match will feature Baltimore, Maryland's Danny Wiseman. Our tournament leader is trying to win his second title of the year, Dave Ferraro of Kingston, New York. That's our outstanding field of finalists for today's Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. The Professional Bowlers Tour has returned to Sayville on New York's Long Island for the Toyota Long Island Open. Long Island stretches 118 miles from Manhattan to Montauk Point. It's a playground for the rich and famous. It's an area of museums and mansions. Suffolk County, one of the two counties here, is New York's largest agriculture-producing county. There are vineyards, there are horse farms. They raise a lot of potatoes here, a lot of melons, and they're all delicious. 123 golf courses dot Long Island. I've come today to the Mecca of golf, the oldest golf course on the island, Shinnecock Hills. And there is the landmark, the storied clubhouse. A United States Open was played here in 1896. Raymond Floyd won here in 1986. Another will be played in 95. We're just about ready now for the finals of the Toyota Long Island Open, and it's a lot warmer where my colleague is at Sayville Bowl. So Nelson, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you, Chris Schlenkel. From shivering at Shinnecock to the warmth of Sayville Bowl, about 45 minutes away. We're here for the second consecutive year. We have an enthusiastic crowd, and we're only moments away from the very first shot in the opening match. Now, last year, the man to my left won this tournament. He's the defending champion. He's in third place again this year, trying to defend that title. Ballard, what's your secret here at Sayville Bowl?
It's no real secret. The crowd really treats you like a hometown guy, and that really keeps you pumped up all week. And whenever you get down and you make a spare, they still cheer for you, and that really helps you out. Seeing how you're gone for say 30 weeks a year, it really helps.
All right. Last week we saw just horrible scores in the PBA National Championship. A 150, a 133. What do you look for 49 and 50 here at Sayville Bowl today?
I think it's going to take some high scores this week. It's been high scoring all week, and I think you'll continue to see it today. All
right, you bowled 2 300s, 1 in 91 and 1 in 92 here. Let's see how they play the championship pair. The PBA has applied oil 45 feet down the lane. This is very similar to the shot we had in the Johnny Petraglia tournament. The last 15 feet are dry. Now remember, in the Petraglia tournament, the scores were very high. The players are playing a line somewhere around the second arrow, swing out to the edge. And our one straight ball player is playing right down the first arrow, Phil Ringener. Chris Schlenkel, a lot of money at stake today.
Yes, a total of $150,000. 27 to the victor, 14 runner-up, 8, 6, and 5. Delight to be back on scenic Long Island. Despite its growth, it remains the same. Splendid. All right. Philip Ringener, you're looking at him. 33-year-old professional of 13 years. Looking for that first win. He's from Big Spring, Texas. That's West Texas, out by Midland. Hard shot by Phil Ringener, leaving the 4-7.
Ringener, one of the hardest throwers on the Professional Bowlers Tour. When he first came out, speeds up to 22 miles an hour were not uncommon for Philip. He's obviously made a few changes in his game, but he still likes a lot of speed from the outside line he's playing today.
Spare by the man that finished third in the Showboat Invitational this year. 12th telecast of his career. Now we look at a real veteran of 37 years of age. 41st telecast. He has 7 PBA titles. Tom Baker. A 10.
The Bakes with just a real classic style. A little knee bend at the start, a 5-step delivery, He has just a medium-high backswing. Look, everything's almost in a parallel line. And watch how he just slides through the shot here. Now he just drives through with that pivot step. A nice long slide to foul line. A real solid finish. Leaves the 10-pin.
Cross lane. Some relief, but no problem.
Well, the 10-pin really for the pros, I believe, Chris, is about the easiest spare. That's the spare they shoot the most often. As you improve with your bowling game, if there's any single pin you leave, it becomes the 10-pin most often. And he was comfortable after making that shot. And this is his 41st appearance. You see the grip of Tom Baker. He sticks his fingers in just a little bit, but he's using a span of only 3.5 inches, very short.
So this time he is on the opposite side. It is the 7-pin, the man that won his last title in 1986, the Kodak Invitational in Rochester. He was the 3rd seed then.
Ball coming in a little bit light. Watch the head pin do the job. Over on the left side, just doesn't quite take out the 7. Now Baker across lane, a little heavy oil in the center, has to make sure he gets across to the 7.
Enthusiastic crowd here. Phil's to the top, believe me. Standing room only. Now, Philip Ringener, 5'11", 193 pounds. Asking for a re-rack, perhaps?
Chris, the left-hand lane, Baker's ball did not trigger the machine. The bowling machine is triggered. You see that black piece hanging down right in front of what they call the pin turret that picks up the pins and sends them up to the turret. When the ball hits that area, it's supposed to make the machine's gears go and start recycling. Obviously, it didn't happen on this time, and Phil does not want that to happen in the middle of his approach, so he's waiting for them to recycle the machine.
All right. In other words, the humans take over now.
I believe so. Pretty smart move on his part. The interference calls, if you would have it on the PBA Tour, have to be completely from when you're not expecting them. And if he was expecting that to happen, then they wouldn't allow him an interference call. Here we go.
All right. Next week, next Saturday, bowling's Kingpins will be shooting for the 2nd major of the year. Big money and bragging rights will go to the champion of the Bowling Proprietors Association United States Open. That's next Saturday, 3 Eastern, 2 Central, right here on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
Chris, now we still have a breakdown here, and what the PBA has an opportunity or a decision to do, if the lane does not work, they will move over to lane 48, and they would bowl on lane 48 and 50.
Okay, and while the decisions are in the process of being made, we'll take this break from Long Island. We'll return, though, soon. Mechanical misfunction on the left lane. The automatic pin setter, bow, and decisions being made now on what we'll do in case they can't get it to work 100%.
Okay, it comes to this, Chris. There's no time limit. Basically, it's Johnny Campos, National Tournament Director, discussing with the players, as you see right here, what to do. Now, they're bowling on 49 and 50. They obviously have a practice pair or an alternate pair to the left, 47 and 48. They would continue to use lane 50. When the ball comes back on 50, pick it up, walk over to 48. Now here's something to watch for. Lane 48 hasn't been bowled on much today, so it will probably be hooking quite a bit more than 50, so they're going to have quite a challenge. All right, here's the alternate lane to the left of the championship pair. Now Ringener's up on 50 right now, and he will throw this shot on 50. And then he will go over to 48.
Spare up. Ringener, a big spring. And the Texan gets the first strike of the afternoon. That coming in the 2nd frame. His opponent, Baker, had marked with 2 spares.
All right, Chris, we see Ringener grabbing another ball. This is kind of a precautionary thing. This is guesswork. The players are allowed to warm up on this pair if they opt to before we go on the air. There's 1 hour of warm-up before we go on the air. He's just going to be guessing where to throw the ball. And what's going to happen right now is Tommy Baker is going to be watching to see what happens to Ringener's ball. This is kind of guesswork right here. The last time this happened was 1977, Toledo, Ohio. It involved Ernie Schlegel and yours truly.
Oh, wow. He has to be happy. Philip Ringener, Big Spring, Texas, doubling, taking the lead.
Chris, and Jimmy Stefanich, who bowled one of the 300s on the Pro Bowlers Tour back in the early days of the PBA, he bowled the 300 on a pair of lanes that was obviously like this. One lane had broken down, the player moves his ball back and forth. Now there's a little bit of confusion of when a player is going to bowl right now.
And of course, the pins are not on the deck of lane 50. By osmosis, we have two empty lanes, the pair.
Let's see, Chris, the last 12 months, 2 bomb scares, a power outage in Panola Valley 2 years ago.
A 133.
A 133 last week, and right now, no pins. So,
and we've been perfect. Well, at the moment, there's an 11-pin lead enjoyed by the man looking for his very first PBA victory, Philip Ringener of Big Spring, Texas. He marked with a spare, doubled. He is going against veteran Tom Baker, who opened with 2 spares.
Yeah, you're kidding me.
Johnny Campos and Frank Esposito are the 2 PBA officials who are looking on and making decisions, and we'll let you know what those decisions are when we return to Sayville Bowl on a sunny day on New York's Long Island.
The NFL's best hit the wall as the Jeep Superstars begin. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
By way of one of our ABC cameras here on New York's Long Island in Sayville, you're looking at the capacity crowd. There's Johnny Campos, the tournament director, our liaison between the PBA and ABC, Frank Esposito, to the right of your screen. Lane 50 is working, and Tom Baker goes to work. Third time he's had single pin spares to look at. He marked the first 2. This was his shot in the 3rd frame, Bo.
Well, Chris, it's been almost 10 minutes since the Bakes has thrown a shot, 37 years old, and he has taken no shadow ball. So really, he could be a little tight on that shot, and he didn't get away with too tough a spare to make. He's already had 1 10-pin today, converted easily. Here's the 3rd frame.
What a group of fans. They start cheering when the ball is 2/3 of the way down the lane. Now he will move over to not lane 49,
but to lane 48, Chris. 60-lane bowling center. It's a split house. There's 30 lanes on each side. We're using the high end, as they call it. Baker using 1 ball on lane 48 and another ball on lane 50. But this is the Bakes' first shot on the left-hand lane, kind of uncharted territory. Let's see what happens.
Channel for Tom Baker.
Well, here we go. We've seen Del Ballard do this. We've seen this before, but this is really a bad break for Baker because he was expecting that ball to hook back a lot more. And he had thrown a few shots over there before we went on the air. I watched him practice on that lane. A bad calculation. He's dug himself a hole. Let's see if he can make the spare.
7 PBA titles. His best finish this year was 27th at the Showboat. 41st telecast. And in all those telecasts, he had a 210 average. All right, with a double up, here is Philip Ringener shooting in the 4th frame, first game.
Ringener with just a very powerful style. 5-step delivery, a lot of momentum in an arm swing. Look at how high he gets it. Reel up in this area. He's driving here through the pivot step. Now watch how hard he drives through to the foul line. A long, long slide. All the players today with that long slide. A good finish, the 4-pin. He would lead by 21 with a spare.
Stuck at the line and nearly went across it. Philip Ringener talked to us earlier about the adjustments he's made in his power game.
Yes, I have to adjust out here with my ball speed, but when I first come out here, I didn't know how, because at home I always threw it hard. So I had to go back home and learn how to adjust. So I adjusted into my approach. So I try to slow it down so I can adjust, so I can play different parts of the lanes, because with my fast ball speed, it hurts me when we have to play deep inside.
So bowling parallels life. Game of adjustments.
You're right, Chris. And Ringener, with that ball speed, he has a great latitude of ball speed from about 22 miles an hour down to 16. It could help him in a situation like this, as Baker's going to have a little delay here as they try to get lane 49 started. And that's what just happened. The crowd reacted to it. Baker doesn't think too much of this.
Hats off to the mechanics.
Well, let's see what lanes they bowl on.
Yeah, what do we do now? Punt.
They might be bowling a pot game across 3 lanes here in a minute.
Good, Tom Baker. That's that strike. Tom Baker, a top bowler up until the mid-'80s. Explain why the long slump and how he'll dig his way out.
48.
I had an injury back in the past, a wrist injury, and really hampered my bowling. I had to compensate for my style. I saw my mechanics of the game disappear, where I got stiff-legged a lot. And I went back home, I videotaped it, and I saw a lot of problems. And I decided to make a wholesale change in my game this year, and I'm holding the ball down lower. I'm getting a little bit more ball speed on it, and I went to a lighter ball, and it helped out a lot.
We're on lane 48, the alternate.
Ooh.
Flirting, and he doubled and cut the lead to 11 pins. What a champion.
And he's emotionally hot. Bake's really kind of a low-profile type guy. I tell you, he really reacted to that. He doesn't like the goings-on so far, not so much his opponent, but just all these side attractions. And right now, he's cut the match down to just 11 pins with Phil Ringener.
And Phil's power game left him with the 2-5 on lane 50.
Too much speed. Phil Ringener, who really had trouble in the early going in the championship rounds, as you see the replay. Philip throwing the ball, as we call it, right through the break. He was 0-8 in his first 8 championship round appearances, and it was basically because when he got in a panic, he'd throw it too hard. He did it on that shot.
Chops the 2 off the 5.
And look who's got the lead right now. Baker, with despite 2 10 pins, a gutter ball, and a double, he has now taken the lead in the match.
Winner. This game will go against the number 3 seed named Ballard, also the defending champion of this event. This is the Toyota Long Island Open. Lane 48, not so kind to Philip Ringener in that shot.
Right now, Ringener, who has really only had one mistake, the bucket, and he chopped it into 6 frames, going at a 197 pace. As you look at Jill Ringener, Philip's wife, expecting their 2nd child in May.
Mm-hmm. And Jill, being the young lady that works in the press room when Philip's out here bowling, works with Bobby Dinkins and David Ord. And now Tom Baker. Double up. Oh.
Leads by 1, can make it 11.
Good luck.
All right. Tom Baker from Buffalo, New York. Next week we head to Canandaigua, which is closer to Rochester, New York, for the United States Open.
The Bakes from the outside line gets good speed on the ball, and watch him just bushwhack that 5-pin. Drives it over in the 4-7 area. The head pin does the damage on the 7-pin. Baker settled down here the last 3 frames after a real shaky start, despite a gutter ball, no open frames, kind of an unusual score. Can now extend to 11, his 11-pin lead to 21, 8th frame.
And then
Unusual split. Only a big hook ball bowler like the Bakes would leave such a split. It's the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. What he needs to do is get the ball to the right of the 3-pin and drive it over into the 4-7 zone. Looking to cut through the heart. Only 5-pin count on this ball. Get the ball to the right of the 3 in the 3-6 zone. Hopefully the 3 will take out the 4.
Don't practice this one too often, do you?
No, you don't, Chris. But it's really like shooting the baby split. Pretend you just had the 3-10 out.
Well, that's the most excitement we've had this afternoon. A lot more exciting than failing equipment.
That's right. A little clinic by Baker here, and hanging tough as he remains 7 pins in the lead through 8 frames. Now bringing her up, 8th frame.
All right, and Phil bounces right back. Like counter-punching in boxing. And Danny Wiseman is warming up off to our right. He is the number 2 seed and our tournament leader. He'll be bowling later, of course. He has to wait through the first 3 games, and his name is Dave Ferraro, making his 6th television appearance here in 1992.
Well, lane 50, it's decided to start acting like lane 49. We just had a little aerial attack on the pin rack there, as it knocked over some pins on the right-hand lane, which Ringener had just bowled on. He now has his ball ready. He's set in the 9th frame. He can take the lead by 3 if he strikes.
Here's a man that started as a 6-year-old. Parents owning the bowling center, and they still own a bowling center in Big Spring, 24 lanes.
Well, he backs off the approach, and wisely so. Quite a bit of his distraction, and I think everything's set now. Ringener up, resetting the action here. 9th frame, trails by 7, can take the lead with a strike double in the 9th.
Imagine if golfers and other pros had these distractions. I wonder if they'd handle it as gracefully as the bowlers do.
Well, that's why they break clubs occasionally, Chris.
All right. That was a 9th frame strike by Phil Ringener, as our next in line bowlers continue to warm up and practice. And Tom Baker, 37 years of age, has a spare up shooting in the 9th, trailing by 3.
All right, the bake's a little off there. A little pull shot. Gets a good break for a change. Breaks down the 4-7-10 split. And right now, he still can win the game. He would be trailing by 8 pins, by 6 pins if he misses it, if he makes the spare. Leading by 6.
Tom Baker, who holds records in the PBA, 6 games, 12 games, 42 games without bonus, 42 with, highest 42 game tournament average of 247.
All right, the Bakes has a possible 213. Ringener going at a 207 pace. Baker needs a double here in the 10th to take the lead, put the pressure on Ringener.
All but the 5-pin on lane 48.
Kind of a confusing game for everyone involved. Baker a 202 if he spares and strikes. Ringener would have to fill 16 pins in the 10th frame.
Wow, hanging it right on the edge and covering that 5-pin.
Ringener contemplating what he has to do. The key thing is obviously to get a strike if he can. That would lock up the match, but a good count and a spare is necessary for a win.
Okay, you saw Philip Ringener concentrating, looking away, shielding his eyes with the towel, not watching Tom Baker, to whom we're looking now.
Ringener needs a mark in what we call a count of 16, a strike, and he closes the door.
Philip Ringener knew the importance of that shot and delivered.
Looking at the scoreboard, just doesn't want to throw a gutter ball or go over the foul line, but it's in the bag for Ringener right now.
Philip Ringener. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Tour, brought to you by Toyota. Remote is just a light. And by Firestone Tire, official sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.
We have returned to Long Island, and in match 1, Philip Ringener has defeated Tom Baker with 7 strikes, 226 to 202, in our second longest ever single game in the 30-year anniversary year of the Professional Bowlers Tour, because, Bo, mechanical malfunctions will happen.
You're right, Chris, and the two Texans going at it right now, defending champion Del Ballard and first game winner Phil Ringener, and a little levity going on between these players as lane 49 was having a little problem during commercial. Ballard starting the match.
Del gets all but the 10.
Ballard, defending champion, Chris, and he has 9 titles, and a 10th title is something extra on the PBA Tour that gives you a lot of exemptions, including one for just being a touring tour player, in the Firestone.
And Del, as usual, is wearing a wireless microphone. You can. So we'll try to listen in from time to time. Phil Ringener won that first match. If you just joined us, 226 to 202. Shoots first on lane 50. Crossing over and leaving the 6-10.
Kind of interesting here. I think this is where a professional bowler's training should come into play. When you have one lane, the alternate lane 48, that's hooking quite a bit more than the right-hand lane 50 on the championship here.
Ooh, it's off. There's a little chop, chop. ABC's Wide World of Sports head to the beaches of Cancun, Mexico. Top National Football League stars will go head-to-head to determine the best all-around athlete in the Jeep Superstars. Then the road to the Kentucky Derby continues with the Santa Anita Derby, presented by Kawasaki. Lane 48, another strike for Phil Ringener. He adapted to that lane in a hurry.
You're right, Chris, and we spoke about his speed control. He's about 20 miles an hour on 48, which is hooking a little bit more than lane 50. So Ringener has been a little bit light a couple of times on 50, solid on 48. Now, here's Del Ballard's second frame, 50.
Hit, baby. All right.
Content with that shot.
Del Ballard, an ideal style, and check his steady head. You know, the steady head is so important, Chris, and look at how he is right here, his position right here, drives through here, and then the real long slide through the shot. See him staying down with that ball.
For Del, his 25th appearance, and his second of this year, 4th in the Cleveland Open, but last year he was on 8 times and won 4. The 1989 Firestone champion. His first title ever was a victory in the 1987 United States Open, which has a renewal next week, a week from today, Canandaigua, New York.
Big one.
Hook. Yes. All right.
Look at those eyes, solid on that target. Good follow through. Great reaction. Now Ringener leads by 1. Strike up can make it 11. Third frame.
Two and a sleeper 8.
Well, we talk about oil carry down on the Professional Bowlers Tour. We showed you the oil pattern at the top of the championship round. What has happened is the players bowl more on the right-hand lane. It carries down. Here, the player needs to get the ball right in the 2-8 zone, have the ball carry out the 2 and the 8 pins. This was which confronts Phil Ringener here, third frame.
Second time he's chopped today.
Well, cross-lane spares are more difficult on this condition we have out here because there's a little heavier concentration of oil in the center of the lane, as you see Ringener's ball hooking by the 2 pin and sliding by the 8. And the reason being is a little more oil in the center of the lane. The player has a tendency to help the ball across the center, and then it hooks too much going by. Now he trails by 11, fourth frame.
We're in our second game. And as we continue our 30th year flashback to music, here's Shelley Fabre singing about someone special.
Johnny Angel, how I love him. He's got
Trophy or no trophy, it's the one everyone wants to win. Next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Our second game continues here, Sayville Bowl. Del Ballard has strung 3, striking in the 4th and 5th frames, and has the lead by 31. Philip Ringener, at whom you're looking, had a strike up in the 4th. He has left the 6th pin, and he continues to mark. But a disastrous open frame has allowed Del to take the lead as we go to Bow.
Thank you, Chris. Danny Wiseman, have you ever had anything like this happen, and what's your game plan? 48 looks like it's hooking a lot. I know you didn't practice on it. 50's tight.
Well, Bo, I threw a few shots on the hooking lane. The right lane's going to be a lot tighter, and the left lane's going to be hooking. I'm just going to, see what happens. I'm probably going to use the same ball. One lane I'm going to be hooking, the other lane I'm going to be going a little bit straighter. So, see what happens. Should be interesting.
All right, good luck, Danny.
Again, Phil Ringener comes up with that 2 and sleeper 8. This time on lane 48. As our tournament leader, Dave Ferraro of Kingston, New York, continues to practice off to our right.
Well, he missed this once on the right-hand lane. Let's see if he can convert it on the left-hand lane.
No. Nearly from the channel.
Yep, he exemplified what we were really talking about. A little heavier concentration of oil in the center. If you help it across the center, it runs by. And then if you don't help it across, it hangs. So a tough shot. Ringener's open twice.
Leaving a 10 pin, and Del thought it was another one of those strike balls with a 3-bagger up. He's in his first match of the day, but for his opponent, Ringener, it's his second. Ringener winning the first match against Tom Baker, 226-202.
All right.
Del Ballard shared the best bowling tip ever given to him earlier today. Here it is.
The best tip I could say that ever given to me was never quit, because obviously you're good or you wouldn't be out here. And you get down on yourself during the tournament and say after 10 games you're bowling terrible. Well, you never can quit, because you never know that if you come back, you'll have a good shot the next day, and then you shoot 300 over in cash. And I've seen too many guys out here that quit after, say, 5 or 6 games when they don't think they have a chance. But when they come back and bowl this, I never quit.
All right. Del Ballard, who is in the lead here in our second match, leading by 43. We'll return.
All as the Jeep Superstars begin. Next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Philip Ringener has just marked with a strike in the 8th frame of his second game. Marked with a spare in the 7th. He's going against Del Ballard, who has been tough. A strike up, Del shooting in the 8th.
Chris, he's just beating the pocket to death.
Right.
He only has 4 strikes to show for it, a couple of 10 pins, but a 43-pin lead.
1988 American Bowling Congress Masters champion in Jacksonville.
All right.
The muscle car fan in the Toyota Long Island Open.
Right now, Ballard going at a 218 pace. If he strikes, spare, strikes, spare. When I say pace, I'm predicting 20 pins in each frame. Ringener a possible 205 if he strikes out. Could be close.
Now 8-3-10.
That's the break that Ringener might need to get back in the match. He's looking at the scoreboard. He's saying, if Del Ballard misses this 3-10 split, I can still win the match with some strikes. Get the ball over to the right of the 3-pin, let it deflect into the 10.
Hook a little bit. Nope.
That wasn't very good.
He opens the door for Philip Ringener. Scoreboard tells the story. Right now, Ballard to 205 pace if he strikes spares in the 10th. Ringener, if he strikes out, 205. He can cut that lead from 30 down to 0 with 4 consecutive strikes here at the end of the match.
Hey, jump on it, Phil.
Ringener. We had one of the several 300 games shot here during competition.
Ballard also a 300 both last year and this year, but for Phil Ringener, that was probably his biggest shot of the match so far. He had not struck on the right-hand lane the whole match. He puts himself in a position where he can still win. Let's give him 3 strikes in the 10th, and the match would be all even. The onus would be on Ballard.
Philip Ringener. Yet to win a PBA title, but he's made a good living.
Well, a wry smile on his face as you see the concentration on the shot in the replay. He throws this just about as well as he can. When you see a player go down to a knee, disappointed, the best he can do is 184. The match is going to be Ballard's.
Gives that knowing half smile to his wife, Jill. So it is one Texan. One of the 2 now goes on. He'll go against Danny Wiseman. This week, Bo teams up with Cindy Coburn Carroll to illustrate the value of adjusting the feel of the thumb hole.
Cindy, that wasn't a very good shot, yet your arm swing looked pretty good. Your timing looks pretty good. What's the problem?
Well, I just dropped it, Balbo.
Okay, look, we only have 3 or 4 frames of practice left. Just take this ball and just squeeze it, and we can get out of here. Finish up your practice.
Well, you know, I think it's a lot easier for a man to grip the ball, just seeing that they're a little bit stronger. But I think a woman would benefit a lot more from just simply adding a piece of tape in the ball.
Okay, let's add a piece of tape to the thumb hole.
Okay.
Cindy's adding white adhesive tape to the back of the hole. Some people prefer the black electrical tape, but either one works. Here we go.
That feels much better.
And a much better result. Take a tip from Cindy Coburn Carroll, top woman professional. If your thumb hole is a little loose, add a piece of tape. If it's a little tight, take a piece of tape out of the ball. That way you can maintain that real good feel and your scores will improve.
Plus $3 shipping.
At the top of the show, we took you a ride down the lane on the ball cam. Innovation by our director, Larry Cam. Here we go again. Is that something special, or is it? Okay. Ringener defeated Tom Baker. That's Philip Ringener, 226 to 207 with 7 strikes. In the second match, another Texan stepped in. It was Del Ballard, the defending champion, who defeated Ringener 205 to 181 with 5 strikes. So now it's Ballard against champion from Baltimore, Maryland, Danny Wiseman. Next week, we look forward to going to Canandaigua, New York for the Bowling Proprietors United States Open, $225 total prize money. Then, 2 weeks from today, back to Windsor Locks, Connecticut, $160,000 Tom's Classic. And here we go into match number 3.
And after the Tums, Chris, the third jewel of bowling's Triple Crown, the Firestone. And now Danny Wiseman, who lost his first television match ever to this man, Del Ballard Jr., right here last year.
So the 4-time champion, 24-year-old, young and lots of ability, opens with a strike. Here he is, defending champion, Del Ballard, guy with a sense of humor.
All right. Wow, this lane has gotten tight.
He tells the story with his own microphone. The lane has gotten tight. That's hard for people to believe, that the more you bowl on it, the slicker it gets. But that's what happens out here on the tour with the heavy concentration of oil. A great portion of that oil carry down, Chris, is with the very porous, high surface friction urethane bowling balls that the players use. I think that is probably the primary reason that the oil carries down so much out here on the tour. It can happen in league play, but not quite as much.
Lofting the ball.
Swing it, Daddy.
Del Ballard. Sparing a strike. Now Danny Wiseman. Second frame with a strike up using the full approach. Broke up the 7-10 split.
Weissman with just an ideal style, holds the ball low. Now watch how he starts off here. Just a shoulder high push away, backswing, right there in good position. His head's real steady. Look at this pivot step right here, and then the long slide through. One of the longest slides in bowling. He and Ballard, almost identical styles.
It came up. Danny Wiseman third at the Paula Carter Homestead, Florida Open this year. 7th telecast overall. We said 4 victories in 6 telecasts. A game record of 12 victories, 2 losses, a 228 average.
Fantastic. And his idols in the sport of bowling were Holman, Hardwick, and the man he's bowling, Del Ballard, who defeated him for the first time he was ever defeated, 250 to 247 here last year.
And having no problem with lane 48, the alternate lane was a breakdown on 49, Bo.
Well, the PBA has deemed that they will not use 49 even if it comes back on. So the man who wins this match will have a tremendous advantage over tournament leader Dave Ferraro. Ballard just a little soft with this shot. He adjusted to the tighter lane by throwing the ball a little bit slower. It didn't work. Too soft. Leaves the 3-6 spare.
Okay. Yeah, we had some good news as the auto racing season gets underway, that it looks like our friend Lynn St. James may have an opportunity to race in the 500 this year. And if I had a car and he with a little of experience, I'd want this man to drive it. Made of the right stuff.
You're right, a lot of guts. Even match, 4th frame.
Oh, no, not that.
The 2-8-10. The ball slides by on the right. Watch the head pin doesn't quite come off the sideboard to do the damage. 6 chops off the 10. The best Ballard can do is really hit the 2-8 and hope for a kick out of the 10 pin.
So it's an open frame who won the previous match, Del Ballard. We'll continue with our semifinal after this.
Sports.
We're looking at the defending champion. After an open frame in the fourth, Del Ballard has come back with a strike in the fifth. However, a three-bagger recorded by his opponent, Danny Wiseman. A combination of an open frame and a double has put Weissman on top by 34. Del, if he can strike on this alternate lane, number 48, he can cut it to 24. Here he is.
Come on. Come on, man. Come on.
Ah, that wireless microphone. It's great. So it's a spare for Del Ballard. Disappointed. And here's Bo.
Tournament leader Dave Ferraro. Dave, a breakdown. Obviously, I don't think I've ever seen anybody have to bowl on that in the last couple of years. Plus, the tournament leader has only won 3 times this year. What's your game plan?
Well, as for the breakdown, I get practice balls, and my opponent has to do the same thing I have to do, so there's really no advantage one way or other. As for the tournament leader not winning, I think he's due.
All right, very positive attitude from a very tough competitor, Chris. Back to you.
And a man that has lots of experience on our telecast this year, Dave Ferraro. Winner of 7 titles, his 6th appearance. We're looking at Danny Wiseman in his 2nd appearance, 3rd at the Paula Carter Homestead Open. 3, 4, 6, 10. Tough shot. So it's an open for Danny Wiseman. He's suffered some recent injuries, he told us earlier, but he's found a way to get into today's finals.
Well, Bo, 3 weeks ago I slipped shooting a 10-pin in Carolier Lanes, and I hurt my arm. And I took the next week off, and I bowled 8 games. I didn't even practice. And last week I finished 6th, but near the end of the week it was bothering me. And this week I saw Rich Patera. He has a friend who's a doctor, and he looked at my arm. I strained a muscle, and he gave me some medication. And this week it's been fine. It hasn't bothered me one bit. But I thank Dr. Conti very much.
All right.
And he doesn't seem to be getting the wrist action he normally gets in the ball. And Rich Butera is one of the promoters and host here at our Leisure Lanes operations as Danny Wiseman steps to the side to get a lower surface friction ball, sliding the ball across the lane as his wife looks on, hopefully to make the 10-pin and maintain an 18-pin lead through 7.
Lisa watches with you. Kelly Ballard watches in Texas. There it is. Off the deck and into the channel for Danny Wiseman. And that brings the match close. In fact, this man leads Ballard. Did you know?
Everyone wants to win. Next Saturday on ABC Sports.
Del Ballard opened in the 7th frame, chopping the 2-8 off the 10. In the 8th, covered a 4-pin for a spare. Now we're looking at Danny Wiseman.
21-pin lead for Danny in the 8th frame. He's only going at a 193 pace. Ballard at a 172 crease. And just week after week, the players are struggling on the championship pair. The PBA needs to find a solution to these really horrendous bowling conditions. 1 or 2 weeks acceptable, but this is getting ridiculous. These lanes were high scoring all week long. Ballard averaged 254 on the championship pair. Weissman 233 all week long coming into this, and they're struggling for 200s. Look at this.
Misses the 7-pin.
Well, they call 3 strikes in a row a turkey. We call 3 misses in a row a buzzard out here. So the opposite of a turkey is a buzzard.
Wide World today features, it's a double whammy, believe me. The National Football League stars are going to be in the Jeep Superstars. Then, the road to the Kentucky Derby continues with the running of the Santa Anita Derby, presented by Kawasaki. Wide World follows us. Leaving a 2-pin.
And our statistician, Billy Oakes, asks what happens if he misses this. You go from a buzzard with 3 misses in a row to a flamingo for 4 misses in a row. This is a kind of a trail through the zoo birdhouse.
All right. Billy Oakes, who finished 9th, made a buck.
Ballard saying, what is the score here? I thought I was out of this match. I still have a chance. I'm only trailing by 10. Flamingo, 4 misses in a row. Right now, Del Ballard has taken the lead sitting on the bench. Look at the heavy concentration of oil in the center. Players go by, not much to say, except Ballard can now defeat Weissman for the 2nd consecutive year in Sayville tournament.
Come on, ball! Wow. Where did my hook go?
Where did it go?
Well, it went with the oil carrying from the front part of the lane to the back part of the lane, and you can't get any surface friction. The ball doesn't finish. Let's put this setup right now. If Del Ballard converts his spare, the match is even, tied going into the 10th. Despite all the delays, we still could have a tie match at 171.
Play there, baby.
And if we tied, it would be by far the most exciting thing we've had up to now. Anyway, by the narrowest of margins, let's see it again.
Is there a black cloud floating over this building or what? The match tied going into the 10th frame. Despite all the comics and lack of artistry in this match, we still have to determine a winner.
And the defending champion giving it his all. You can count on it. And so is Danny Wiseman. As Dave Ferraro. You hear the pinfall now. Continues to warm up. He's a tournament leader, and he's hot.
Okay, Weissman cannot be shut out. He can bowl 181. If our defending champion, Del Ballard Jr., throws 2 more strikes, he'll have 181. The match is up for grabs.
That's a strike on lane 48. When the chips are down, these pros are tough. And of course, all he can do is sit and wait for his time. The winner to meet Dave Ferraro for the $27,000 first prize.
Well, baby. Not that again.
3rd time.
No.
All right, Ballard finished 178. The job in front of Danny Wiseman. 2 strikes and 8 to win. Anything less, he loses.
Can't believe it.
Has 4 consecutive openings going into the 10th frame. Weissman loses. Ballard goes on to the final.
Okay. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Is back here at Santa Anita every morning, continuing his new career as a trainer. That's all ahead at 4:30 Eastern after bowling. Right now, let's go back to Chris Schlenkel.
Bill Shoemaker, a sight I never wanted to see. Ringener defeated Baker here in Long Island, 226 to 202. That was the first match. Then in stepped the defending champion, Del Ballard, who eliminated Ringener 205 to 181. Then in the most unusual match, carrying on the unusual lane conditions, 178 to 160. Ballard the victor, and as you see now, he will go against our tournament leader, Dave Ferraro. Phil Ringener, president of Leisure Bowl Centers, on the left. And there's Bill Parks, the vice president. Arthur Colucci is in Boca watching, and we hope you've been watching with us today. And Bo, give us the 6 through 24 rundown.
Okay, pal, it was a great tournament, 160 players. Look at the average to make the top 24, 222, yet they're only averaging 192 today. Wonderlic and Bone, 2 of the top players up there. National champion Eric Forkel, 8th place. Tommy DeLutz. Marshall Holman, all-time leading money winner on the tour. Mosier, Brian Berg bouncing back from a bad national championship. Dientermont and Wilson tied for 16s. Watch that Wilson, a rookie out here. Brad Snell, Ron Williams. Dreyfus, Georgetown Bowl, the House of Pain, he says. Hi to the guys there. Adam Colton. Nair, a good season. Rounding out the top 24, Laster, 24th place. Long Island Open, the championship game coming up, Chris.
Two great champions, Del Ballard in the red, and in Seafoam, Long Island, whatever, it is Dave Ferraro. Two great ones. 9 titles.
And yes.
All right, so way to open it. Another Firestone champion now. Our tournament leader, he won it in 1990, Dave Ferraro. 6th telecast this year. He had 3 consecutive in March. And like Del Ballard, he had 8 telecasts last year. We're all even, Bo.
You see the profile of Del Ballard, Dave Ferraro, our tournament leader. Ideal position for control. Now look at, here's the key spot. And watch him slide through, driving the ball straight down the line. Comes out with a very aggressive shot right around the first arrow. He has the least amount of hook of any of the players today, and it may be to his benefit because the lanes are tough.
And our top seed is left with a 7-10.
Well, he's surprised. I mean, you don't want things like this to happen in the very first frame. He knows Ballard struggled, and Mark Roth didn't have much trouble with a 7-10 back in 1980. This is what Ferraro has to do to convert in the second frame. Not to be.
Dave Ferraro looking for his 8th title.
2 of bowling's finest out there right now.
Lay there. Yes.
Del Ballard.
Come on, Hoss.
Ballard using 2 different balls, a ball on lane 50 and on the alternate lane a separate ball, so he doesn't have to wait for the other one to come back. He speeds up the matches and also has a big lead.
ABC's World League Football continues with regional coverage tomorrow. Lander Thunder rolls into Ohio, where the Glory are waiting to avenge their opening day loss, or from Germany, the Frankfurt Galaxy hosting the Birmingham Fire. Oh, big strike for Dave Ferraro. Tomorrow, ABC, it's high tech and high speed as the Indy cars hit the desert, running at the Valvoline 200 from Phoenix. That's all tomorrow live, except on the West Coast on ABC Sports. We're live. Sayville, Long Island. Not too far from Islip, or MacArthur Field, an island with 1,100 miles of shoreline, once the home to 13 Native American tribes. 2 reservations here, the Puspatuk and the Shinnecock. But the New Yorker against a Texan in a big double for Dave Ferraro.
The last player to successfully defend the PBA title was Amleto Monicelli in Reno, Nevada, 1990. Ballard has that opportunity today. Commanding 32-pin lead against one of the toughest opponents in bowling today, Dave Ferraro, 5th frame.
He has 5. 7 more. True value, 100,000. Don't go away. president of the Bowling Hall of Fame, bowling proprietor, and the chief executive of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, the very talented Bill Blue. And a week from today, it'll be the BPAA U.S. Open. Leaving a 10.
Dave Ferraro striking the first frame, swishing 7-10 in the second, apparent good hit, a double, then a soft 10 here in the fifth. Every ball around the pocket, and he finds himself almost buried through 5. He trails by more than 40 pins.
Dave Ferraro, if you were PBA commissioner, what would you do?
Well, it's probably a more difficult job than most people think, but I would probably publicize the work that most of the players do with Big Brothers and Big Sisters and also the other charities.
And those charities do get much needed cash from professional bowlers.
Well, Chris, I asked him that question about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Now trailing by 44 pins as a tournament leader, I'd like to ask him that question again. Would he like to say the same answer?
Dave Ferraro's best year was in 1988. He won 2 and he won $150,000. U.S. Open victor, his first title, Del Ballard. Well, the string is stopped at 5, though.
Watch the action of the head pin, goes to the sideboard, and almost gets the messenger. It dances a little bit, and if he had just hit that pin up around the top of the belly, he'd have knocked out the 10 pin for 6 in a row. Right now with a conversion, he'd have a 43 pin lead over tournament leader Ferraro through 6.
Bo gave you the 6 through 24 other finishers. Bob Hanley was 26th. Tony Westlake, 28th. Brian Voss, 31st. Chris Warren, 33. Mike Edwards, 37th. Norton Duke, 48th. And Bob Vespi tied with Ted Glatke, 52nd.
Ballard putting on his own show as the 2-pin trips out the 4 in the 7th. Dave Ferraro is beginning to say to himself, I can see why the tournament leaders haven't won this year. Only 3 tournament leaders have won. One of the reasons is bad luck. Number 2 is the guys coming on are so zeroed in, the tournament leaders half buried before the match gets going.
All right, the man who won the Johnny Petraglia Open in North Brunswick. Yes, it's high-tech and high-speed as the Indy cars hit the desert running at the Valvoline 200 from Phoenix. That's tomorrow live, except on the West Coast, right here on ABC Sports.
Ferraro, the #1 average on a professional bowlers tour at 217, holds the record or the streak for the longest times in the top 10 averages 1985 through 1991. Sure, he's not saying quit, Chris, but his ball looks like it's beginning to quit a little bit as Ballard is a good finisher and has Ferraro on the ropes.
Here's Ballard. Richardson, Texas, suburb of Dallas.
Yes!
Wife Kelly watches from there. Normally she's here.
Well, there were only 4 strikes in the semifinal match between Weissman and Del Ballard. Ballard right now has a chance to get 11 strikes in one game and a 279 and his 10th PBA title. He's got the match well in hand. Tell you what, that scene right there It's one a victory for Del Ballard. But you're talking about one really, really gentleman, nice guy standing on the approach. This Dave Ferraro doesn't step aside for anybody, but he's a great, nice guy.
Yes, they are.
Ferraro can finish out with 214. Very representative of a championship game, but it doesn't really reflect how well he bowled. Let's take away the one kind of shot he slid by late in the match, or he could have been right on a 279 pace himself. Bad luck is going to cost him the title.
But as we indicated, for Dave Ferraro, it's his 6th appearance this year. Dell's in only his 2nd of 1992. Last year, 8 and winning 4. Three 6-10. Sheer disappointment and some disgust, I'm sure.
Well, he bowled a good game. He's going to be in the 200s. Ballard's got it locked up. A high game, possible 270.
So it's a 10th championship for the winner of the Firestone, the Open, and the ABC Masters. Del Ballard will be back. 10th championship for Del Ballard. $27,000. Dave Ferraro, the runner-up, with $14,000. And in from that lovely suburb of Dallas, Richardson, Texas. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. I'd like to thank everybody here at Leisure Bowling Centers and all the fans, all the hospitals out there. And I'll tell you what, everybody from Toyota, and oh, what a feeling. Yes, Daddy.
Waldo Jimenez, Toyota business manager, is here with a check. And Waldo, we welcome you. And I know you want to say something to this champion.
Well, Del, on behalf of all the associates for Toyota Motor Sales USA, I'd like to present to you this check. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
They sell muscle cars, you know. Okay, here's a trophy, and it's lovely, Bill Reitzik. I know you want to present it to the champ.
Doug, Del, I think you've got bookends now from last year. Congratulations, and from Martha Colacci and all of us at Leisure, congratulations.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Everybody here at Leisure has been great. I really appreciate everything y'all do for us. It's the greatest. Thank you.
We're going over to Bo now with Dave Ferraro. Bo, take over.
Thank you, Chris. Dave Ferraro, you bowled great. You got a bad break at the start, but the tournament leader continues to lose out on the Professional Bowlers Tour. What do you have to really comment on about that?
Well, I'd like to be here next week and give it another chance. Del's awful tough, I'll tell you. He's probably one of the most feared bowlers out here, and when he needs it, he gets it off his hand good, and he's a great shot maker.
The championship pair, how much effect of a broken down lane did it have on you from your previous practice?
Really had no effect on me. The alternate lane was a little bit drier than the right lane, and there was no problem with either one.
So you didn't really have to make any adjustments. Del Ballard Jr. obviously has this house kind of in his back pocket. You're going back to your kind of your home area up in upstate New York for the U.S. Open and a chance at your second major next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. It's a major tournament, and I'm on a roll, and hopefully it'll carry on to next week.
All right, Chris, you got a great champion with you. Del Ballard, his 10th title. Back to you.
Del Ballard, Firestone champion, ABC Masters champion, U.S. Open champion. Adele, your very first title was a United States Open victory.
That's right. Next week we're going to Canandaigua, New York for the U.S. Open, and that was for $100,000. I'll never forget it. I almost passed out right there on the approach.
What about lane conditions? It's an ever-changing game.
Yes, it was. Whenever I started practicing on the right lane, I thought I had it down a lot, and then the oil carried down. I wound up switching balls the last game. I didn't switch to the last game.
You don't mind using alternate lanes, obviously.
No, not at all. I had it hooking just a few boards more and played it, a little bit different. I was trying to get a little wider on this lane than I was over there, and everything worked out great.
In your career, are you at the spot you'd like to be at this young age?
Yes, 10 titles. I never envisioned this. I just can't imagine. 10 titles is a dream I never thought would ever happen.
We can imagine because you're good, young man. Back-to-back champions here in Long Island. For Bo, see you at the U.S. Open next week. This is Chris Schlenkel. So long.